and
Unmuted.
Jonah.
Yay!
Yay, Baron! Hi. Oh, go ahead, Joe.
Well, I'm Joe, and I play Calder and Flavio.
Ooh. Flavio is great.
Yeah. The flower that
Yeah.
knocks out of his pistol and not the gun. Well, I definitely play them. And I don't know. I've been I don't think I know a ton more about the characters than the audience does at this point. To be entirely honest. I'm hoping they'll show up some more in the future, but we'll just have to see if that happens.
Yeah. Hi, I am Deneen Melody. I play Mirna. Some of the spoilers. I don't know. It might be a story. It might just be something to put in y'all's head so you can think about it. But there's definitely more to her than you may think, and she's not exactly, yeah. She's mysterious. I don't know. We'll see. Find out. Yeah. Ooh! You are about to meet me.
Halt, keep your distance. The city is nobody gets through. How long will it take exactly? No one can say. A safe conduct. What do you think? Seems legit to you? Seems right, yeah. Besides, look at her garb. Seems like pretty official stuff. Yeah, you can go. Gonna have to do my best impression of, Mike. Do you know a guy named Alfarius by any chance?
Oh,
Doesn't ring a bell. That easy? Gotta be a catch somewhere. You cut out for just a second. I didn't hear part of that. I did a while back. I did a thing for a game called Healer's Quest. That's like it's based as though you're playing an MMORPG, but it's not an MMORPG. It's like a game that the story takes place in an MMORPG, and you're playing a healer whose party just does not appreciate him at all, or her. Yeah. And it's just all sorts of humor related to MMOs and being a healer. And I played the announcer
for that, so I shout things like victory and defeat. and I also played the voice in the trailer. Mario! Or as I hear often, Young Link!
Mochi! My cat's name? No, Jamie Lannister, the Kingslayer. Oh yeah, because he's so regal and snotty, just like Jamie Lannister in Game of Thrones. Yeah. Let me see. What have I am going into the studio later this week to work on a game that I already have some other roles in. So that's exciting. I feel like if I say, then I mean, it's a game that I've already done. So if anybody's been following me, you can kind of put 2 and 2 together. I'll say it that way so I don't get in trouble and they're not like, yeah, talking about it. And then just recently
So, what's next?
a little bit of
Finding
work.
Lady Myrna, so it seems. From what I heard, she's a renowned soul searcher.
A soul searcher? Oh, for the dead god's sake.
Is there a problem?
Can't stand them. Con men and women preying on people gullible enough to believe them.
Well, I don't hate them.
Don't tell me you're actually buying their hogwash.
I don't. But at the very least, I find it entertaining.
Great.
Yeah.
You'll do the talking then.
Oh, no. I just worked on Miraculous Ladybug, which was fun. Yeah, just so I can't talk too much about that, but I did that, and yeah, so that's fun. I have some stuff, and I have some other stuff coming up, but NDAs, can't talk about it. But
That's exciting.
yay! Yeah, it is. It's fun stuff. It's so small, I can't see it. Yeah, I'm like, what is happening? I did. Wait. How do I just want to full screen you. I don't want to look at my face. I'll look at Joe's face. I don't need to look at my face.
Yeah, let's escape maybe?
Escape it!
Perhaps you'll have to steal the miraculouses.
Or something to that effect.
Something like that. The only reason that I thought was under an NDA, but the director noted that I was in a cast on Instagram. So, yeah, Ezra. Just watch. I can't see it.
Is there any way to just view only the chat on Twitch? Because I think trying to stream both the video from Discord and the video from Twitch is a little too much for my connection. Okay.
Oh, that's right. Hold on.
Pop out. Yay! There it is.
Pop it out. Yeah, who are you? Who are you? Yes.
Who do you main?
And in Smash Bros? Either are. Oh, she. Okay. I mained Toon Link for the longest time, but now that I have to choose between Toon Link and Young Link, because I mained Young Link back in. Yeah, that's the conclusion I've come to.
Nugget!
Like I said, my name is Nugget.
Little nugget. See it! I'm getting it on the Twitch channel so I can actually, like, read it. Let's see. See if I can get this to work. What is this? An advertisement? Why?
I don't remember.
I don't want to watch this.
I don't remember Edge of Eternity being about Toyotas.
I know. I'm getting a Civic commercial.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's probably what I got to, but I didn't pay attention to this.
Oh, Honda. No, it's Honda. There we go. Okay.
So there you go.
What am I going to do with you? Aha! See, I can see it. No, I can hear you.
Yes. Is there a way to pop out the chat for Discord and separate it from the video? Because I like to have it full screen. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm on Twitch right now, and it's very laggy.
Oh yeah.
No, I'm not Felicia Day.
Just laggy, I think, in terms of real time.
Oh, that's Felicia Day. Maybe it is. Okay, you know what? I am exiting out of that, because that was terrible. So I'm not on the Twitch anymore. Let me see if I can get it on my phone. Okay, I'm on there. So I'm gonna be on Twitch on my phone so I can chat with people. There.
Let's resume the training.
Is this better?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now my mic's fully in.
Get him! Get him!
A prayer for your wayward soul.
You are so powerful. Is there a way on stream I can just, on Discord that I can just see the video? It's so small. I mean on Discord. Because I tried to open Twitch and it's very laggy.
You can. Like, I think if you click on my video and. I
Yeah,
don't know mine.
You can double click on her video specifically, and it'll show
Aha.
only her video.
Okay. Yeah, there we go. Done. You guys are amazing.
Okay, maybe this is better.
Nugget.
I'm getting so ripped.
It's almost frightening! Having such power, it's probably too much of a responsibility. I knew the dockers who quit their job for that reason. Couldn't handle their own burliness. I could totally relate, but, you know, I'm like from a totally different mold. I'm no quitter.
Hey, thanks for the bits, Wisteria Tree. Stop teasing me.
Right. Let's keep at it.
Alright.
And if Micah ever watches this, I apologize for butchering your voice.
I won't back down!
Just hearing me out of other people's. Oh, my game is lagging.
Oh, it's so beautiful though.
Hey, Nick Gaming. Welcome. Oh, and Dachshund. Alright, there's a bunch of people in the chat. Maybe we can start on the questions that we got from Discord.
Yeah.
I can't
What?
right now.
Okay, let's see. You're talking about the ones that you posted in the Discord? Okay. The first question was, how did you become a voice actor? Is it something you've always wanted to do?
I'll start. I came out of my mother's womb when I was a voice actor. No, I'm teasing. For me, it was actually a bit of a journey because I actually was a dancer before I ever even got into film, TV, or voiceover, and I trained professionally in dance, and that's what I always intended to do. But I had an injury, a bad injury that put me out. And even still dance, I can't do it professionally, you know, at that level. So I got into film and TV, and because I'm such a fan of anime and video games and cartoons and all of that, I immediately, as soon as I got into that about 10 years ago, I wanted to do voiceover. It was a long journey because I got, you know, into theater, and that took up a lot of time, and then I got into film and TV, and that took up a lot of time for me to move out to LA and start pursuing voiceover. And yeah, it's something that I wanted to do for a long time, and I guess I just had to have certain steps happen, you know, in order to push me into that direction. And yeah, and it's great. I love it. And as soon as I started taking classes and really focusing on it, I knew that that's what I wanted to do. Like, I love it. I love it. It's so much
Yeah.
fun. So yeah, that was my journey. Yeah.
Yeah, I can go next. It's hard to say exactly when my journey started. On the one hand, as a kid, I always thought that being an actor would be fun. I'm also pretty new to the voiceover scene, just in general. In terms of professional stuff, at least. Let's see. Over the course of my life, I've done a lot of just quotes of things that I like. SpongeBob, for example, I would just quote episodes, full episodes for people, and just, you know, this episode is mine.
But and just like over time, people were like, "Yeah, you're really good at that. You should do something with that. Have you ever thought about being a voice actor?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess." And at some point, my brother and I got a microphone. We tried out doing a parody of Bleach for a while, actually.
Nice.
I took some acting classes in high school. I took one in college, and I met some people online through various projects I did on YouTube and things like that.
Yeah.
And eventually, I got involved. I fell out of it for a while. I lost a little bit of my spark, and then I said I really want to get back into voiceover. And he's like, "Here, try out this thing called Autumn Leaves, which is the mod for Fallout New Vegas." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm just trying to ease back into it, so I'll just do a small part for now." So I did that, and then months later, I saw the audition for Edge of Eternity. And
Nice.
I was like, this looks way too stinking cool for me to ever get a part in. But I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna audition for it and hope for the best. And long story short, I ended up being able to play Calder, and that was like,
Now we've met.
yeah.
That is actually good advice for anybody who is wanting to get into voiceover or just acting or anything in general. Just go for it. Like, if there's something you want to do, see what happens. You did it, and now you're in this cool game.
Yeah, you can't.
So you never know what's gonna happen.
It still,
Yeah.
You can't
it still feels
don't fight if you never try, right?
Exactly.
right. It still feels really surreal. Like it's not really happening. Like I'm only like a couple of 20-line parts in this so far, but it's like beyond imagining.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful game, and like for me, it's totally in the vein of all of the games that I play and love since forever, all of the Japanese RPGs. So I agree with you. It feels very surreal, like watching and playing it and hearing our voices come out of these characters. Yeah. And how about you, Celine?
Well, I talked about it a little bit. Let's see, when did my journey start? About 5 or 6 years ago. Voice acting is something that, like, I always kind of wanted to do, and I thought that I had to start super young, and, like, you know, I had to have all this training, and I was so far behind. But, one night I was talking to one of my friends, and I was like, you know what? I just want to try it. I just want to go do an acting class for fun, and I found an improv class. And you know, I've been told, and like I agree, like improv is one of the most important skills you can have as an actor. So yeah, like I took that class, and through that class I learned about like film jobs and some other stuff, and so I started doing it just for fun, you know, going on set, like even as a PA or whatever. And at some point I decided I wanted to get serious about it.
Yeah.
So I ended up like taking more classes. Like I was working a full-time job at the same time, and that was hard. And then I decided to go for it. Oh,
Thank
Sarah,
you for
thanks
being
the
a
sub.
friend.
And this is weird news. I'm trying not to trigger it yet. Where was I? Oh yeah, I decided to go for it full time. I quit my job, and it was really tough. I still haven't gone to LA like I want to, but I've been just doing everything like out of studio. Like I have a closet over there, and I use this mic. I don't know if this is the one that's working right now. I use this to record. Let's see. This is the second game that's out that I've been a part of. I've also been in Stardrop, which is made by a good friend, Yaur, I think that's how you pronounce it. He's from Singapore, and yeah, that was my first like video game job maybe 4 years ago, and I really enjoyed that one. And like, it's interesting going back and like listening to my voice acting in that game and like hearing the difference. Yeah, I feel like I could just go on forever, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah, but no, it is so interesting whether you're an actor on film or you do voice, to go back and listen to what you've done,
Yeah,
throughout the years. It does. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's also, it shows you how much you learn just by
yeah.
working on projects and doing it.
Yeah, I was just gonna say doing
Yeah.
it, like, it's pretty much a just do it kind of thing. And yeah, like, I
Yeah.
think the hardest thing for me was like getting over the fear that I wasn't good enough, or that like I was
Yeah.
gonna fail, and like you just kind of have to forget about it, like make yourself be like, I'm good enough,
Yeah, exactly.
Just
It's hard.
keep the will to keep on trying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, and I think that there is almost this misconception that voiceover is easy and voice acting is easy. You hear it a lot out here in LA, where actors will be like, "Oh, I'll just go into voiceover," like. You hear it a lot, and then they're in for a very rude awakening when they start like actually taking classes and they see that there's a lot more to it. I mean, above anything, you have to act. So acting classes in general are very important, and it is not easy. Actually, I have found it to be very difficult in terms of, I've done stage, film and TV, and voiceover. I think voiceover is very, very difficult. So yeah.
Yeah, you don't have anybody to play off of. You like basically everything is in your imagination.
Yeah, and even if you're doing, like, I do some dubs, anime and live action dubs, and you do have the visual there, it's very restricting because you're not, you have to match everything up a certain way in a certain time, and
Yeah.
that's hard. It's hard to do. And then if you're not doing that, and you're just doing like what we do for these games or prelay animation or commercials, you're literally just reading, and you have to bring whatever is on the screen or paper to life without anything else.
Yeah.
Like, you might have like a drawing or like a character image or something like that, but you're having to create it. And it's difficult. It's not that easy.
Yeah, and for stuff like this, like, you don't interact with the other actors a whole lot. Like, this is the first time we've spoken in person, I think, other than when Joe and I spoke the other night.
Right.
When we tested out to make sure that this thing wouldn't blow up in our faces horribly.
Yeah.
No, that would have been terrible. Yeah. I mean, it is, when you're doing something like this, you do it, and then you just have to imagine how you think maybe the other actor is gonna perform, or what the whole gist of the scene is, but you never know.
And I think it makes you a better actor overall, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Hey, look who that is.
Oh my god!
Shall we go see?
Really quick,
you said
some
really
some people in the chat have been saying they've been having a hard time hearing people over the audio of the game or something.
Over the audio?
Yeah.
Okay, I changed my mic's input, so hopefully that fixed it. I sound better now? Cool. I think it's just me.
Good.
Thank you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Probably
Thank you,
because
chat.
of the game. Yeah.
Yeah. Alright. Do we go? I can't move anymore, so I think I did it. Yeah, it's loading.
You did the thing!
I found you!
I love this bit.
I know who you are here for. Your elusive master, Alfarius.
That is correct.
Sit down. First things first, let me decipher your spirit. Not you, priestess. There is little light to shed on your soul. No shadows within you. You're a setting sun, a perfect orb of searing light clearing the path ahead. To scrutinize your soul would be as pointless as looking for shadows among the flames.
Maybe.
But for the young man painfully dragging himself at your side, it's another story. A story worth telling, actually.
She's kind of cheeky.
Oh, no. Please, no.
Sit, boy. There are plenty
boy.
of shadows to go about in your
I
tormented
actually like
mind.
their dynamic. It's
Let
hilarious.
me
I
approach
love
these
it.
unwanted zephyrs.
Yeah,
And
no,
I like
I'll keep
Myrna
my
and
thoughts to
Celine.
myself if you don't mind. We're here for Alfarius. Do you know where he is?
For me to answer such a straightforward question would be an insult to the grand, ever-changing order. Life cares little for simplicity, and truth seldom reveals itself to such tedious inquiries. Like a worm, you have to writhe your way through darkness to find it. If you want me to reveal Alfarius's whereabouts, you will have to let me scrutinize your soul first.
That's
Yeah.
what I figured. You soul-searching people just love hearing yourselves prattle on about the lives of others.
No need to be so rude, Darian.
If she can really read my soul, then the way I talk will soon be the last of her worries. I can tell you that.
My,
What are you
you're a
hiding,
lively
Darian?
one. It will be enjoyable indeed.
Ooh.
So- Sit.
No getting out of this, is there?
Nope. You gotta do it.
Sit, Darian.
Keep in mind, I'm not like the wide-eyed teenagers that come asking you for advice, Myrna. The war is behind me, and there's little innocence left in me for you to exploit.
Know that
How
for my
old is he?
predictions,
Must be
I
like
need
in
a
his
small
20s.
part of your essence,
I don't know.
but a tiny fragment
Baron?
of your soul.
How old is Darian?
It's customary for soul
I thought
searchers to
I-
ask you
I
for a part
read
of your soul before they
somewhere.
predict your future.
Hold on.
It's only for show, though.
It was probably in the
They
casting
don't
call.
actually take anything from you.
It's in the.
Lady Myrna
yeah.
just wants you to voice your consent.
Seriously? Yeah, okay. Take a part of my soul if you want. Be my guest. Just don't go complaining afterwards.
Come, forsaken shard of destiny!
She's so funny.
Pledge of days long past!
Oh, this is so cool.
Let this
Yeah.
carmine crystal be your new home!
Home.
Is that it? Alright, you can go through your usual routine now. Ooh,
I love
see
this.
something. Great destiny ahead.
Poor Myrna.
Then,
She's just trying
the
to
light on your
help.
crystal goes off. It's the first time it happens to you. Then you tell me, I can't see it. I can't see your destiny. I don't
Oh, it's
understand.
so good.
The star shines over your fate, young man, but I can't see what it is. But it is a great one indeed. There, I just did it for you.
Just let her focus.
I see. It
Yeah,
seems you are
dear.
wounded.
Took you that
young
long,
man.
Celine?
Beaten but unyielding. Torn yet
I think that
still whole.
she's enjoying.
Pride
the
is your
interaction.
crutch. Justice, your
The,
path. You've been walking on the edge
I
for some
thought
time
that she
now.
was just kind of annoyed by
Unsure
Darian.
whether to take the leap. Your path will take you up hills and down vales, but always the edge alongside. Of these happenings,
Ed-
you're the
said
unwilling
edge,
actor.
Like Edge of
You long
Eternity.
for nothing
Huh?
but peace. You are trusting
The
the path
edge
to take you where
alongside.
you must, looking for an omen to help you make your choice. Yet,
That's enough! I let you have your fun. Play out your little performance. Now, tell us where we can find Alfarius.
so impatient to meet your fate. I just told you that your trip will take you to many strange places. One of these is a vale not too far from here. In its crucible, a handful of people. Lost, the whole lot of them.
Whole lot.
Amongst them, a prisoner by the name of Calder.
That's you.
Calder.
Who's that?
You are to free him from his jailers.
It's me.
After, and only after
Oh
you've done
boy,
it, will I
I'm as giddy
reveal
as a little
Alfarius'
schoolgirl.
location to you.
Excuse me, but I think Alfarius would want to meet us as soon as possible.
You know my conditions. Whether you choose to meet them is up to you.
Yeah.
If there is no other way, then we will do it. What do you say, Darian?
Yes, we'll do it.
I'm surprised, Darian. You didn't even argue with her when she tasked us with finding this Calder.
That's because I know him. At least, if he's the one I'm thinking of.
Who is he?
A fellow soldier, and a good man. We both served in the same company. If he's a prisoner, that means...
He's probably a deserter, just like you.
Probably.
I understand why you accepted so readily.
If he's a deserter, though, that means his captors might be fellow soldiers. If possible, I'd like to avoid harming them.
We will find a way to free Calder without violence, then. Calder, a fellow brother in arms. I really wonder if it's merely a coincidence.
Of course it is.
Ooh.
She's no seer. But she's good at flapping her gums, I'll give her that.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Bye. So, have you heard it before?
Me?
Yeah.
Or
Have you heard that scene before?
oh yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
yeah. I actually have the scene.
Nice.
So yeah.
So I guess
When Myrna's involved, nothing's a coincidence.
No.
she's good at flapping her gums.
Really, what really drew me to Myrna and why I was so excited to play her was because I don't normally get to play characters like that. I'm usually, because I do so much like a lot of cutesy, young, bubbly characters and
I gotcha.
like and like the ingenue. So, but I love that type of character. And it kind of reminds me of Melisandre from Game of Thrones.
Yes.
And that's. And when they told me about the character, I immediately thought Melisandre because I think there's a lot to Melisandre that we don't know,
Mm-hmm.
and people kind of think of her as like, oh, she's just this hokey magical priestess, but she actually has something to her. So I love that about Myrna. It makes it fun to play.
Mm-hmm. No, I love the way that the character turned out. Like, the voice of her.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because she's still, it's interesting because she's a little bit older than both Darian and Celine, but she's still young.
Yeah.
So like she's not, she's still kind of learning.
Mhm.
Which actually I would like to know what, for both of you, what about your characters made you really excited to play them, or like what drew you to the characters?
To be honest, like I don't feel like Celine is very much like me in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
But I loved that like she's kind of got a leader quality about her. Like she's a
Yeah.
quiet leader because she doesn't need to flaunt that she's got power, like we see it in battle, like she's very powerful
Yeah.
with her magic and she kind of keeps Darian in check, but she's also got like a really fun-loving side, and like Baron's told me about this a little bit, but like she likes to sleep. There's kind of like a joke. Oh no, there's kind of like a joke.
A prayer
where,
for your wayward soul.
She sees it and she's like, oh my gosh, yes, I finally get to sleep. Yeah.
That sounds nice though. I
Yeah.
can relate.
But yeah, I guess like the whole leader quality is something that like I want more for myself, and so like getting to play it in a character, like I really get to explore that.
I will commend your soul to the gods.
Yeah.
I liked being able to play a character where I could bring my voice down even more than I usually get to. With the deep,
Yeah.
gruff, military, hardened type character, but also
Yeah.
this kind of like
similar to Darien in that he's kind of done with it all,
Yeah.
and just I kind of like that archetype.
Mm-hmm. No, it sounds like it's a fun character. If my voice
Yeah,
could go that
archetype.
deep, it would be a really fun character to play. I might die here. This thing is really strong.
No.
Oh god, I don't think I'm gonna be able to kill it. I'm gonna run.
There's no shame in running away.
Yes.
Do a barrel roll.
Yes. Please. Yes.
Okay, so if you flee before the character flees there. You have potions that you can use outside of battle.
I think so.
Soldiers.
Restore your
Quite a
health.
lot of them.
Oh, that's
Calder is there, all right.
hey.
Hey!
Haha.
Branded clothes. Deserters. They're as good as dead.
Just like you, Darien.
Russell, it's not
Oh,
just
You're
about
as
Calder
good as
anymore.
dead.
I can't just turn a blind eye. I gotta help them.
Help them? And go against the whole garrison?
If that's what it takes, yeah.
But we are completely outnumbered.
I won't fight them. Simply cause a distraction to allow the prisoners to flee. You stay hidden, okay? I'm not going to compromise your reputation on this. If anyone sees you helping outlaws, you'll be excommunicated on the spot.
Wait a second. Actually, I'm thinking of something a bit more cunning.
Something in mind?
Maybe. We have seen a lot of Orokos in this region. And I have a few ideas on how they might help us with this delicate mission.
Delicate mission, Orokos. There's no way this could go wrong.
But we have to find a big one first. You were a scout in the army, right?
For a time, yes. Oh, I see what you mean. Yes, I'll find you some Oroko tracks.
The biggest one you can find.
Alright, so I think that's the thing I was fighting.
Yeah, I think. Wait, was it? Yeah, yeah, it was.
Okay, I guess we can go on to the next community question.
Oh yeah. Let's take a look.
Let's try medium quality.
What do you love / hate about your job?
Huh. It's a good question.
I'll let one of you go first this time.
Okay, I'll go first. There is
I'll make one!
so much to love about this job. Like, I consider myself, like, first and foremost an actor, but I also I work in esports and like make memes and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know. There's not a whole lot that I dislike. Like, even on the days where, you know, it's really tough and I'm like super busy and I'm stressed out and stuff, like I'm still like, man, this is the best job in the world. I couldn't ever do anything else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I can't think of anything I would
Yeah.
hate.
I think the only things that I somewhat dislike are the things that aren't even really part of the job itself. Like all the things like this, that's not voice acting about being a voice actor. But even that is totally worth it when you get behind the mic and you're just like, ah.
Yeah. Oh, I have something. I don't like editing.
You don't like what?
I don't like editing.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, I still don't think it's the worst thing in the world, and I would rather be doing that than anything else. But, like, oh, it just takes so much time, and it's so tedious. And, like, by editing, I mean, like, you know, when I send off voiceover stuff to people, I either
Yeah.
like send it in chunks or I just get rid of all of the
Right.
extra stuff they don't need to hear.
Yeah. But Joe, what do you love about voiceover?
Oh.
Yeah.
Just the whole experience of stepping behind a microphone and becoming someone entirely different for a time. Someone who is pretty exciting in a lot of ways, a lot of times.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like whether it's playing someone like Calder or I've done some fan dubs for Professor Layton type stuff.
Oh, yes.
True gentleman leaves no puzzle unsolved. And or even just playing some kind of stout hero or maniacal villain, whatever it is. I always have a lot of fun with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I started doing, like, the reason I started streaming was, like, I wanted to go into Overwatch and, like, fake the voices. So, like, I like to do do impressions. And I make videos with those just for fun. Like, it's good practice.
And they're very good. They're very good.
Thank you.
And it is actually a great skill to have, because I know out here in LA, I get a lot of voice match auditions,
Mm-hmm.
which means they're looking for you to be able to sound like, you know, almost exactly like a character reference, or you need to sound exactly like a character. So it's good to practice like these well-known characters and to practice different things that you hear, because it can come in handy.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Yeah, and I've heard that a lot. Sorry, they asked me to change the music a bit. There you go.
That's good to hear because sometimes it feels like when I hear some voice actors talking about voice acting, they kind of downplay the need to be able to alter your voice to sound like specific things.
Yeah. It you know, it totally depends, because I think that it's a good mix of both. I get several auditions where they get vocal references and
Mm-hmm.
or again a voice match.
Yeah, and
Recently I can't say, but it was for a very popular and well-known cartoon, and that you needed to sound like them because basically you would be taking over this cartoon character's voice. So it does happen. I do think though also it's good to have your own, you know, voice and your own take and your own
Right,
characters.
right.
But I still think that it comes in handy, and if anything, it's not a bad thing to practice or have in your pocket, you know?
yeah,
Yeah.
and I think doing the impressions kind of you can build it to create your own characters, you know.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. I was gonna say, for me, there's really, I'm like you guys, there's really not much that I don't even like the word hate, because there's nothing, if there was anything that I absolutely hated about voiceover, I wouldn't be doing it.
Exactly.
It's because, yeah, how much, and quite honestly, for me, it's the first thing since ballet and dance that has given me the same type of joy and passion. I mean, I loved theater and I loved film and TV, and I did circus arts for a bit, but voiceover is the first thing since that I just love so much, because I love the community, and I love video games, I love animation, I just being able to emote and act without having to worry about all of the other things. It's just so I love going into the studio and being able to create, and it's were talking about earlier, it's difficult because you don't have that unless you're using just like a green screen, because I do some motion capture as well, and that can be, you don't have anything else there. But even on set, you have something to go off of, or you have another person there, you know.
Yeah.
But I love being able to use our imaginations, and that's what you have to do in voice. You have to use your imagination. And for me, I am so thrilled to be able to do that and have a job where I can go in and play, basically, even if it's just commercials. Yeah, even if you're even doing commercials, it's not just like you're sitting there reading your computer screen. You have to bring something to it.
Yeah, you're a character in a commercial.
Exactly. I think the only things that I dislike is kind of a general thing. It's not to voiceover itself. If anybody follows me on Instagram or anything like that, I post a lot about, you know, how negative thoughts and feelings that arise when you're in the industry in any form, about, again, not feeling good enough or comparing yourself to others, and that constant.
I love to use the Force this way.
Ooh, is she a Jedi?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but and it's not so much that I dislike that either, because I think I'm very much an advocate about feeling how you feel, and if you're feeling discouraged and you're feeling down about where you are at in your career, it's okay, because everybody feels that way, whether they admit it or not. And if you're able to know that you feel that way, you're able to work through it and see, you know, and word. And again, that's not something just in VO. I think it happens like in all forms of art and performance. It's just, but I'm grateful for it, because I think it helps makes us even better at what we do.
Yeah. And like, I definitely have those feelings too. Like, 3 years ago, I did not think I could talk to another voice actor. Because I like, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome?
Yeah.
Like, you feel like you don't have anything, so you don't belong. And that's one thing. Another thing I wanted to say I love about voice acting is meeting other actors, or like just acting in general. Because like everybody has, you know, they have their own story, and it's always different. But you also have like those things in common. Like it's real support.
Yeah. And especially, again, I live in LA, and so it's basically the hub of performance and entertainment, and there's so much. And again, I've dabbled in so much, and I still do like motion capture and stuff like that, and I still dance, and every once in a while do theater and film. And voiceover has the most supportive and genuinely friendly community goal. And it's really
won't back down.
Yeah.
I did not know what imposter syndrome was before, but I just looked it up. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, that happens.
Yeah.
That happens.
It's a real thing, and I tell people, you know, it is, for me, I think it's totally okay to feel that way, because it's how you feel, and by, again, allowing yourself to feel it, it kind of opens it up, and then you're like, oh, wait, but look at all the cool stuff I am doing, and other people feel this way too. I'm not alone. I'm not the only one out there who thinks that I, like, suck at everything. Like, it's really helpful.
For your wayward
Yeah. It's always good to talk about these things, because I
Agreed.
think whenever any actor feels like nobody else feels that way, it can really, like, just sit with them. Yeah. You're not alone. If any of you out there feels like you're an imposter, so do I. And, yeah. But you're not. You're not.
The persistent inability to believe that one's success is deserved or has been legitimately achieved as a result of one's own effort or skills.
Yeah. That's actually, this is true. Last weekend I went to Anime LA, and I was feeling a little bit of that, because I was looking at these other actors who I was on this panel with, and I instantly was like, I shouldn't be here. I don't belong here, because these guys, I mean, we had Skip Stelrick, who is vicious in Cowboy Bebop, and Ezra Weiss,
Wow.
and stuff. And I'm like, why am I on this panel? But you know, it only lasted for a little bit because then I went up there and I did it, and I was like, oh, that wasn't bad. What was I worrying about? Like, you know, we all did a pretty good job. We all did awesome. So yeah, it happens, and if anything, it'll last for just a little bit, and then something good will happen, and you'll be like, oh.
An Iroko elder.
Yeah, you just
This
gotta kind
big
of
guy
push
is
through it.
exactly what we need.
Yeah.
He'll make a suitable distraction for the soldiers. All we have to
Oh,
do
he's
right
so
now
pretty.
is lure him out and gently
Where's
guide
my
him
mom?
where we need him to be,
Whoa.
evading his attacks again and again until he rushes into camp.
So that's your diversion, huh? That's ruthless, Celine.
Aww. Look at his little nose.
可愛いですね。
Somebody in the
I will
chat
commend your
did
soul to the
ask,
gods.
Neku Gaming asked if Edge of Eternity is our first game as a voiceover actor.
It's definitely the first big thing I've ever done. I mean, technically Healer's Quest was published first, but I started work on this before I started work on Healer's Quest, and partially because I got involved in Healer's Quest through people that I knew on this game.
It's not my first video game. I think it's actually, though, to be honest, the first game that I was cast in, but kind of like you, Joe. But I then was cast in Shadowverse and did some characters for Shadowverse before I started recording for Myrna. And now I've done some little voices in a couple of other little video games since. But I think this one is probably, yeah, the most that I've done in a game, for sure.
Yeah, for me,
Now I have to look
sorry, what was that?
Now I have to look up Shadowverse.
Yeah, look up Shadowverse. It's a really popular card game, and I played it before I even, got cast in it, so it was really cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's my dream.
because I like card games. Yeah.
Yeah, this wasn't my first game either. I started in Stardrop, and I also do a little bit of game development for an indie company just to kind of know how it works. So I did a little bit of voice for those, but this is definitely, I guess I would say it's the biggest project. It's got like the biggest fan base. Stardrop is also something like it's a beautiful project, and I think it's pretty big. But like it's a different game. It's like a narrative-based game. This one's more like action. So like I loved that I was able to do like grunting noises and attacking and stuff.
Yeah. I was actually talking about this being having a fan base and being popular, because Shadowverse is a very big game, but it's so funny because as many players and as big as that game is, whenever I talk about Edge of Eternity, I always have somebody who knows what I'm talking about opposed to Shadowverse. So it's very funny. I mean, I have I last summer worked at E3 for Overkill's The Walking Dead booth in Sweden, and one of the guys has been following Edge of Eternity since it was up on Kickstarter. Like, he knew all about it, and when he saw that I was cast and was playing a part in it, he fanboyed. And I was like, wow. I didn't, I knew it was a big deal, but I didn't realize that it, was that big of a deal. And even at Anime LA, I was talking to some girls, and there was one who I'd never met before, and she turned to me and she's like, "Oh, Denise Melody, are you in Edge of Eternity?" And I was like, because she follows them on Twitter and has been following the game. So yeah, it's really cool.
Wow, that is really cool. I didn't even know it was that big, but like I've had the same
Yeah.
experience where like I tell a friend like, oh yeah, like this is a game that I'm in and like it's gonna be released in early access soon and all that, and they're like, oh my god, like I heard about that game and like it's something I've been waiting for the longest time.
I had a friend who I was talking to. I'm a CS major, so I'm over at the university building for like science and technology a lot, and there's this guy that I do programming with a lot, and I was like, yeah, I'm in this game, Edge of Eternity. He's like, yeah, I think I saw something on social media about that, how it's like this game that's really similar to Final Fantasy. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, it
Didn't know
makes
that
you
it
go,
got around.
huh. Yeah. And I think it's just going to get bigger because each time that chapter is released on early access, more people are going to talk about it. You know, and yeah.
And just to
Cool.
see videos on YouTube of people
Playing
just
it.
There's so many.
playing it, talking about how impressed they are with it, just how excited they are for it. It's like, I'm in this!
Yeah, like sometimes like somebody asks about it and I go to YouTube to find the trailer or something and there's just more content every day. Did we have another question from the thing, from the Discord?
Questions, yes.
There's a lot of questions.
There are many.
Ooh, why is it
Are there
bouncing
any
like
more
that?
in the...
Huh.
How long can you take before entering the shoes of your character?
I wonder if they mean specifically our character for this game, or just in general.
Could probably go either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me as well.
I loathe to use the Force this way.
Whoa.
Did I?
Hello there.
Hello there, Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'll go with this one first. In terms, again, it depends on the character. I've had characters that if we're talking about in general, I've had characters that literally I can just do like that because it's kind of my character archetype, or you know, I know exactly what they're thinking because the character is very similar to me. I've played that character a lot. And then there's characters where I will get them. And in voiceover, you don't always know what you're doing until you get in the booth anyway.
Yeah.
Case in point, Shadowverse, when I first got cast in it and I played my first two characters, I had no idea which characters I was playing. I didn't even know at all what I was doing until I actually got there to record. And thankfully, both characters are characters, Black Witch Hannah and Lococo, two characters that fit my natural character archetype. So I was able to jump in there right away. There's characters that I literally will have to stop and I need a few moments to think about.
Yeah.
Like with Myrna, for example, I love her, again, as I was kind of talking about earlier, because she's the type of character I don't get to play very often. Just because of my voice and character archetype. So for her, I was reading her lines and kind of figuring her out, and that's when I was like, oh, she kind of reminds me of Melisandre from Game of Thrones, and I'm extremely familiar with that character. So I take elements from her and kind of mix it with myself and my own personality to bring a character like Mira to life. So yeah, I have to just look for inspiration, and as much as you would like to think that you have all the time in the world to do it, that's not always the case. So yeah, it's just having to find a way to relate to the character or compare them to somebody else that you are familiar with, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, for Celine, it was
Like I'm used to playing video games, so like I kind of know how protagonisty characters sound.
Darian,
And it was
Calder?
just a matter of
need a hand?
oh whoops,
2, if you can spare
Yeah,
them.
I'm talking.
Gladly.
I'll stop. A prayer for your wayward
Okay, we're in
soul.
battle.
Okay. Yeah, for me it's just a matter of like a lot of the time what I do is I talk to myself when I'm in front of the mic and like kind of improv the character like before I say the line, and it kind of gets me to like the space I need to be.
Right.
Like that's one of my favorite things to do actually, is just to like to myself or talk to my character to my little action figures on my desk.
That's smart. That's really a smart way to go with it, to be honest.
Sometimes I'll go back and listen to like previous times that I've recorded for the character just to make sure that I'm still on point.
Oh yeah, I do that too.
The voice type.
Vocal reference. You have to go back and hear yourself. Yeah.
Well, especially
They
for
do that in the studios too. Yeah.
yeah. Well, for games specifically, because you don't you do the lines once and then you don't hear back for another couple months, and then you do some more lines and you're just like, wait a minute, where was this character? What was in my head 2 months ago?
And
Yeah,
it kind of
exactly.
surprises me. It kind of surprises me because a lot of times I feel like I know what I did for the character, and I'll go back and I was like, okay, it was similar to that, but not
Not
quite.
really. That happened.
So I go and a lot of it's just warming up, and then once I'm warmed up and once I've
Said a few lines as the character, gotten a good feel for where I'm at.
Then you're like,
I will commend your soul to the gods. Ooh, why is it red?
he's angry.
so angry at everybody.
Angry. Actually, I'm curious, like, because I'm working on a French accent right now. Like, what are your favorite accents?
I cannot do accents. I have a story about that. I mean,
Ooh.
I can do. I've done British, or like fantasy British. Let's be specific here because there are. So fantasy British is basically where, you know, just like you sound like you're in Lord of the Rings. And I've actually
Right.
been cast and have played characters like that for actual projects.
What's the
But-
Elvish word
and
for
I
friend?
did. Yeah. So I've done some of that in Southern because I actually am from Texas, so I know how South Texas people sound, but accents is just not something I've ever really worked on or practiced, and like anything you need to practice it. And, it wasn't until I got into voiceover kind of a necessity. I was doing a workshop with Tony Oliver here in Los Angeles last year, and we had a part where we had to do accents. They wanted to hear they wanted to hear our New York accent and then like a British. And I told him before I went up, I was like, bad, I cannot do accents. And he was like, oh no, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Like, yeah, everybody says that, just go up and do it. And I went and I started doing it, and it was like so quiet in there. And when I came back and sat down, he's like, well, at least you have a lot of characters you can play. And I was like, yeah. So yeah, it's something I would love to be able to do, like a Scottish or a really accent. So I'm practicing that. And that's my thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I feel like I was told by an acting teacher, like, don't try an accent unless you know you're super comfortable with it.
Yeah. And it's good to know. It's really good to be self-aware and know if you can do something well or not. And as I've taken several classes where they tell you, yeah, unless you know that you are competitive enough with that accent against actual like British people or actual people with a French accent who are also probably going to be recording and sending in those auditions. Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just don't do it. Work on it if you really want it. But
Yeah. We have a question in the chat. How much of voice casting for these games are one takes? Like, how often do you pull it off on the first try?
Right. I think that is also in the
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
in the Discord, so we will get to that.
What about you, Joe? What accent do you like?
I tend to find myself going to British quite often.
And it depends. For me, if I'm gonna try out an accent, I usually have to think of a specific character that uses that accent. Like
Yes.
Professor Layton or Harry Potter
Or Hagrid.
or
I default to Tracer.
Germany, Germany from Italia.
That's actually that is a trick too. About getting into the accent is not just like finding a character, but also a phrase that can get you into it.
Mm-hmm.
Having that little catchphrase that you know, if you say it, it's gonna get you in that accent right away.
Yeah.
and there's people like
I will up the goal.
Joey from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge.
Yeah, Brooklyn Rage.
Type of stuff, and then there's like Danny DeVito or something, you know. So yeah, that's usually me if I try to do an accent, is I'm doing a character doing that accent, and I try and keep the accent and shift it over to a different space in my vocal range.
Yeah. I think that sort of thing is great for a lot of like original animation and stuff, though. Where it's kind of silly and over the top accents, but they're not like legit accents. Like, yeah, it works for certain things for sure. Okay, I really need. Okay, I gotta step away to the ladies' room.
Okay.
So I'll be back. I'll be back, chat.
Yeah, and then we'll
I'll be
answer
back.
that other question. And I'll talk a little bit about like my accent experience. Yeah, so
Yeah, what's your accent experience? You
Yeah.
say it before I go, because I want to hear it.
oh, it's gonna be long. I'll still be talking about it when you get back.
Okay.
But yeah, yeah. Currently, I'm in a play right now where we're doing like a murder mystery dinner, and I was British, but apparently I sounded a little too proper. So changing it to French in the style of the Pink Panther. So basically, I have to have kind of a bad French accent.
Soul to the gods.
Gotcha.
Doesn't quite matter if it's not quite correct. It's really hard.
Collect.
Correct.
So you're not
Madeline.
dead after all.
So here I am.
I had to make everyone believe I was dead if I wanted the consort to leave me alone. Sorry about that.
Nah, it's good.
Yeah,
I
I
would've
see
done it
myself
too if I'd
lagging
had
a
the
little bit
chance.
on just on the camera.
You left the army anyway. Why?
I think it might be because we have video
I
streams
couldn't
going.
fight anymore. Not after what I've seen. Not after that.
The Ascendants.
Yeah, the Ascendants. Can't get it out of my head. My stomach's turning just thinking about it. I couldn't fight anymore. Not after what
here's
they do
the-
that
here's
to
the
us. Not after that.
I know what you're talking about. Not a day goes by that I don't think about it. Anyway, we're not military anymore. Any plans?
Lay low. Try to get to Janor. Maybe.
I hope you'll be successful.
Hey, they got me once, but they won't get me twice. Oh, by the way, was it Myrna who sent you to free me?
Yes, talk about a coincidence.
When Myrna's involved, nothing's a coincidence. The lady knows.
So
so
it
true.
seems.
Can you do me a favor? When you see her again, tell her that the burrower is digging all the way around.
Is that a secret code for something naughty?
You don't want to know. Be safe. Next time we see each other, I'll treat you to the best bottle there is.
Careful, I might take you up on that.
Goodbye, Darian.
Yay!
Let's get back to
Is
Myrna.
there a secret romance between Calder and Myrna?
You seem quite overjoyed at the prospect.
I'm not gonna deliver your naughty messages.
I just hope
Calder.
she
Do
won't
it
try to
yourself.
coerce us into listening to her stupid predictions this time.
I can't wait to hear what she has to say about your love life. I loathe to use the Force this way.
The Force.
You have been attacked by deer.
They're so cute. I love all of the animals.
Why do I have to kill them? Oh yeah. Well, back to accents. Yeah, I said, as I said, I default to Tracer for English, and it doesn't sound quite like normal British.
I will commend your soul to the gods.
And I tried to do Farah, and recently I tried to do Brigitte. Hers is like... The difficult thing about it is that she's almost like an American accent with just very slight Swedish.
Yeah.
Justice reigns from above.
Justice!
Every time I hear that, I'm like, oh no! 'Cause I've tried playing as Farah, but I'm like, this jumping around is a little too crazy for me. I tend to opt for, let's see, Reaper, mainly. Also Diva. Occasionally Widowmaker.
Prayer for your
And
wayward soul.
Widow Heals, I do. Robot guy with a Z.
Zenyatta?
Yeah, that's the one.
Pass into the iris.
Yeah. So that guy came to sack
Oh,
Fyodor
that was a
Chin.
cheap shot.
I got to meet him. He's super, super nice. And he's like so into his character, it's cute. Alright,
Super
so
zen.
how many of the lines were one takes? Yeah, I'm experiencing lag too. I think it's just because
You
we're
cut
in the
out for
open.
just a second.
Yeah, you sounded like a robot for a
Oh
second.
no, yeah, I'm lagging for some reason.
You passed into the iris.
Oh no! Yeah, hopefully when I get back into the town it's better. 'Cause, like, I have it on the lowest possible settings. And I think it might just be because we're doing video chat and streaming and have the game on. Oh, my team energy is going low. Anyone want to start with the one take question?
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Okay, we can do that now. For me, you could say that I don't ever do just one take because for this project I'm not on call with a voice director, and so I'm not exactly always sure what it is that they're going for.
Yeah.
And so I look at it different angle, try to decide, okay, maybe they're looking for this, I think, or this sounds in a few different ways, and say, okay, which you guys can decide which one you want. And but I guess if you count each of those different types as one take, maybe like a third of the time I do it in one take, maybe more. I don't know.
I mean, it's very difficult for a game like this because we're not in the studio with the game developers or a director. So we don't have somebody telling us, you know, do this or to say, yes, that's it. You don't have to do. But I have to say, that doesn't happen often anyways. You might go in and do one take, and unless like you're running out of time, they almost always do a safety take anyway, just to have it, because you never know. I'm very fortunate because when I record for Edge of Eternity, I actually go to Soundbox LA, which is a wonderful, wonderful studio, and there's actually 3 of them here. And I have somebody, it's usually Tim Friedlander.
Hey, Derek, they said
not only
Alfarius.
editing it.
Isn't that a...
Yes, you're on to something there, Gavin. I can see it.
Sorry.
Please, do, go on.
It's the name of our target.
It's
I
a
haven't
miracle.
actually seen this series.
Something is alive up there.
Don't be like that, Derek. I was eating. You know I can't focus on 2 things at the same time.
Oh, I swear, Gavin. Every time you try to muster an articulate thought in that mess you call a head, the effort involved makes it look like it's going to explode. And make no mistake, I will enjoy it when it finally happens.
So we're just gonna sit here?
No need for that. At least not for now.
I don't understand you sometimes.
You mean always.
Yeah.
Is that you too?
I never understand you.
Anyway, what were you saying? You go to the studio.
Okay.
What was I saying? Oh,
Where were you? Yeah.
so my friend Tim, who is also recording everything for me, will, because he's the director, because he doesn't know though what they want, so he still has me do 3 takes. And so I normally do, for this game, for example, each line I will do 3 different takes in a row, and then move on to the next line. So then at least they can have an option of what they would like or where they would like to go to. Even if we wouldn't necessarily know if it would be a 1 take or not.
Yeah. Okay, real quick, I am going to pause the stream for a sec and see if I can fix this.
How about you, Aaron?
Can you still hear me? Hello? Can you still hear me?
Is she muted?
Maybe.
Oh,
yeah.
I think I muted myself on Discord. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna pause the stream for 1 sec and see if I can change the settings so that it's a little bit